Good day to you all. Today I'm going to talk about your cutting board. This is your first project in production technology. Okay, so while you're thinking about this and we're in the design process, you need to think about what it's going to look like. There are going to be multiple pieces glued together. What's going to be the right combination for you? And I'm going to have some pictures at the end of this so that you can see it. Draw it to scale, either half or quarter scale. I'm wanting you to use straight lines. Think about what it's going to look like and how much is going to be determined by the bill of materials. You will be required to pay for this material. Okay, when we're out there working in the lab, safety first. Make sure you use common sense. Use machines you know how to use. Take your time and follow the proper steps. You're going to learn how to build up stock. So if you look closely at this picture, you can see these lines. These are all different kinds of wood, all glued together. That's called building up stock. You're going to learn how to do that. It's a process. So by building this project, you're going to learn how to use a machine safely, learn how to glue boards together to build up stock, and you're going to make a project that is yours to keep. And I hope you have fun learning to do it. So here's a little bit of what to do. First, you're going to cross-cut on the miter saw, wide enough pieces to 1 inch over final length. Then you're going to plane to square the face. You're going to joint the best edge. You're going to rip to 1/16 of an inch over your final width. You're going to joint 1/16 off the ripped edge. Now it is to width. Machine, that means make like parts at the same time, and make all pieces to size. I'm going to give you a tolerance of plus or minus 1/16 of an inch. That means if you say a board should be 30 inches wide, it can be 1/16 of an inch less than 3 inches or 1/16 of an inch more than 3 inches. And you're going to make one of your end pieces about 1/2 of an inch wider so that you can square your board after it's glued together. This is a sheet that you will have when you're out working in the shop. I have it posted in the shop, but you will need it. It's normal to use this sheet. It's your note sheet. I don't expect you to memorize all of these steps. Okay, so when you get out there to work, no board should be over 3 inches wide. If it is, you're going to need to rip it down. So the picture shows this board is 10 inches. I would want to rip it down to no more than 3 inches. So what if you have a piece of your cutting board that needs to be 6 inches? You would take 2 3-inch pieces and glue them together. The reason we do this is because it is less likely that the board will then warp. So again, these would need to be cut down. After you square them, this is the gluing procedure. We will go over this with a demonstration. This is just to kind of get you familiar. You're going to reverse the annual rings so you can see in the picture. Then you're going to make the grain on the face of the board go in the same direction and put arrows. Then you're going to put a V on that, just like that, so that you can make sure you align it the same way. You don't have to do those steps again. You need to joint the edges that are going to be glued. That's the only way you're going to get a perfect edge or glue joint. And then you dry clamp them. This is when you check for any gaps. If there are gaps, you would rejoint it. Then you're going to apply glue and you're going to clamp it together. You'll put your name on it, date and time. And then you'll square your piece. We will go over all of this, but these are the steps. I'm not going to take time right now to do it because you would do it after it's made. Here's what everybody's looking for. Here's some examples of some things that kids have made over the years. So here's some cutting boards. One of the criteria of your cutting board is it has to have a handle. So this is one way to make a handle like this. These types of cutting boards are really good for making pizza, for like cutting pizza on. They're a lot bigger. Notice you've got, this is cherry, this is maple. So like a darker and a lighter. This is maple, this is cherry. What I was saying, if you have like a 6-inch piece in here, see how they made 2 3-inch pieces for it? Here's another way that you can make these. You can make them a little bit smaller, maybe not for pizza, but you get to decide what the right combination of wood is for your cutting board. Some other examples. And here's some ideas for the overachiever. These are all projects that kids have made here. So Preston put an inlay in his. We have a CNC machine that you can actually put inlays in. This is a lot of extra work, but you can do it. Bodie made a fish inlay. So these are two different kinds of wood, and you just glue them in after the machine cuts it out. Here's a 3D looking cutting board. Here it is doing it better to where it lines up. John made a brick. This was a lot of extra work, but it turned out awesome. Here's an angled cutting board with a picture frame around it. Justin made a piano. Again, those keys are inlaid. Carter made a circle cutting board, and then he took the wood burning kit and burned in that Texas A&M logo. So that's kind of neat too.